Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. On today's tutorial, you'll be learning how to make this dress displaying on the screen. I recreated mine with Ankara fabric. The original creator of this dress used vintage fabric to make her own. You can also use crepe fabric. I use Ankara fabric for the sake of this tutorial. If this is what you're interested in learning, please don't skip any part. And at the end of this video, if you find my tutorial helpful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also like my video. Also turn on your notification bell so that you get notified once I upload a new video. Okay, I will use this paper to draft out the pattern for the dress. The first thing I will do now is to mark out 6.5 inches. This 6.5 inches will be for the overlap. After that, I will rule it straight down the way you see me doing. After ruling it straight down, I will start marking my vertical measurements. First of all, I will mark my chest line depth, which is 9 inches. It's on that 9 inches that I will mark quarter of my round bust measurement. I will mark my nipple point, which is 11 inches, my half length, which is 17.5 inches, the normal blouse length, which is 24 inches, and the overall length of the blouse is 28 inches, which is from my shoulder to my hip measurement. I extended the blouse length to 28 inches because of the slanted part. If you check the picture on the thumbnail, you understand. So I will go ahead now and rule out my straight lines. The next thing is to mark half of my shoulder width, and I have 8 inches. I rule it straight down to my chest line depth. After that, I will divide my bust measurement by 4. I will add half inch for ease allowance, and I will add 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. I will divide my waist by 4. I will add half inch for ease and 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. I will connect it. On the line where I mark my blouse length, I will mark quarter of my round hip measurement. I'll also add half inch for ease allowance and 1.5 inches for sewing allowance, and I will rule it straight down to the full length of the blouse. I added ease allowance to this dress because I want the dress to be a little bit free. After that, the next thing I will mark now is the neck width. I mark 3.5 for the neck width. After marking the neck width, I will mark the shoulder slope for the front, which is 1 inch. I'll mark my 1 inch and I will connect it to the neck width the way you see me doing. After that, I will divide my chest line by 2. I'll get the midpoint. I'll come in by 0.75. This 0.75 will enable me to curve my armhole. So I will curve my armhole now the way you see me doing. Okay. After curving my armhole, I will mark my neck depth. I mark 9 inches for the neck depth. Thus, I use my chest line depth for the neck depth. So I will curve it this way. Can you see how I place my pattern master? If you don't have pattern master, you can mark a dotted line to curve it. The neckline is like V, round V. Okay, let me just extend these lines so that you understand what I'm doing. So after extending my lines, I will now keep my pattern master the way you see me doing. I will attach the picture of the dress that we are making on the screen so that you understand what I'm doing. Can you see I placed my pattern master? That's how you curve it. The curve will terminate on the half length. That's where it will stop. Can you see what I'm doing? From the half length, I will make it straight to the full length of the blouse. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to cut it out. I put my pattern paper on fold. Please take note of that. So from the full length, I slash it open to the waistline. I will notch this part where my overlap will start. You notch it to indicate. For the down part, you cut the overall full length, which is 28 inches. That's where I cut it out from. So before I forget, we'll be adding bust dart on this dress. Adding bust dart is very important so that the dress will be well fitted. So I will mark my nipple to nipple point measurement, which is 4.5 inches. So from that place, I will now come out by 1 inch. The 1 inch is where I will connect my bust dart. So I'll be adding 2 inches bust dart. So when I'm cutting it on my fabric, I will replace the 2 inches. So the 2 inches, I will divide it by 2. I have 1. So I will first of all mark 1 inch and I will connect it to the 1 inch I came out from my nipple point. I will also mark another 1 inch, making it 2 inches. I will connect it. Can you see what I have? The next thing I will do now is to come out by 1 inch on this side front, so that if I close my bust dart, I won't run shortage of fabric. So you remember to do that. So after that, I will cut it out. If you are new to my channel and you love what I do here, please kindly hit the subscribe button to support my channel, and also give this video a thumbs up. Thank you. So after cutting it out, I will now indicate the one that will go to the right and the one that will go to the left hand. I will write right side on this one and I will write left side on the other side. I will notch my waistline and the full length so that it can reflect on the other side. The one that will go to my right side is where I will slant it. So I will now separate it so that I can write left side for this one. After that, I will follow where I notch on my full length, that's from my shoulder to 24 inches. I will rule the line out. From the full length of the gown to the overall length of the gown is 4 inches different. So I will go ahead now and cut it out. Can you see what I have? The next thing I will do now is to work on this one. So I will add my slant from the full length of the blouse, that is from my shoulder to 24 inches. I will slant it to the overall length of the blouse. After cutting it out, I will arrange it now for you to see what we have. Can you see? That's why it's good to notch it on the neck side so that you know how to place it. Can you see what I have? I've gone ahead to mark my lines for the back part. I also added ease allowance on the back part. The back part does not have a dart, so I used 2 inches for the neckline. I used half inch for the shoulder slope and half inch for the armhole. On the center back, I mark 0.75 to take out the zipper bulge. This blouse does not have a zipper. I just mark it so that the back will be well fitted. I'll cut it out now so that I can transfer it to my fabric. I've gone ahead to place my pattern on my fabric. I'll add my half inch sewing allowance the way you see me doing. Please take note that I did not fold my fabric. After marking my half inch sewing allowance on this part, I'll be adding 3 inches on the lower part. 2 inches is for the bust dart and 1 inch is for the hemming allowance. If you don't replace the 2 inches for the bust dart, you will run shortage of fabric. So I added half inch on the shoulder and half inch on the armhole. I'll place my pattern master this way and slant it out. So I'll go ahead and cut it now and show you what I have. I'm done cutting it. Can you see what I have? So I will confirm the 3 inches I added. If I close my bust dart, the length will go back to 28 inches. So the next thing I'll do now is to notch where my overlap started. After notching it, I'll also notch the 2 inches I added for the bust dart. You can notch it if you want. I will measure the length I have for my bust dart. I will write it so that if I'm adding it on my fabric, I will know where I will stop my stitches. I have 6.5, so I will write it so that I won't forget. So I've also gone ahead to cut my lining. I reduced my lining by 1 inch. You also make a notch on the lining. This is the one for the left hand side. I added my 3 inches also because of the bust dart. Can you see the 3 inches? So I also cut my lining. This is for my back. I added 1 inch on the center back, half inch on the neckline, shoulder and the armhole, and 1 inch for the hemming allowance. I will iron my A-stay on the fabric just to give it a little strength. After that, I will sew the bust dart first. I will hold it this way. Can you see what I'm doing? Please remember that we measured 6.5 inches for the length of the bust dart. So that's where I will stop my stitches. I will confirm the 6.5 inches and I will mark it with my check. So I will sew now. I'll sew it and come back and show you. I'll do the same thing on my lining and on the other side. I've done it already. Can you see? The good thing about adding bust dart to your dress is that even without adding waist dart, it will give you that copy effect and well fitted shape. It's looking like I added a bra cuff to it. That's the benefit of adding a bust dart. So I will trim this part off now. I've also done the same thing on my lining, both for the left and right side. I will give it a good ironing. After that, I will turn the fabric with the lining. I will start with the hem. I will sew it round with half inch, leaving the armhole and the shoulder open. When I was sewing the neck part, I used hemming gum to sew it so that if I iron it, it will relax very well. So use your hemming gum to sew it. So I will turn it to the right side now. Can you see what I have? I will iron it very well. This is for the other side. So I'll place it together now for you to see what I have. You can go ahead now and confirm your measurements. You also confirm the length of your blouse. For me, all my measurements are very accurate. To get your accurate neckline and where your dress will overlap, you measure what we took for our overlap, which is 6.5 inches. You mark it. So that's how you place it so that everything will be accurate. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to place my back part on it. Make sure you open press the center back and iron it properly. So after that, I will place it right side facing the right side. Both the front and back part is matching. I don't have any excess. That's why it's good to confirm your measurement before you shape the both sides. So I will use the sewing allowance I added and shape it. Please consider the ease allowance that we added for the dress. After that, you shape your shoulder. This is what I have when I was done. I've gone ahead to mark where I will put my buttons. To do that, I will measure from my shoulder to where I mark my neck there. So below it is where I will put my first buttonhole. I'll give the space of 2.5 inches and I'll be putting 4 buttonholes. So to get the accurate point where you will fix your button, I will use my pattern paper to show you. You place your pattern together, making sure that 2 notch parts overlap, and I will measure my 6.5 inches. So I will now mark a point on the left side. So that's where my first button will start. You can as well put it on your body to get the point where you'll be fixing your button. I will measure what I have here and I will place the measurement on the left hand side of the dress. That's where I will fix my button. So this is the easiest way to identify where you will attach your button. So you follow the buttonhole that you created and put your buttons. Alright? There are so many ways to identify where your button will be. You just follow the simplest method. The next thing now is to fix my sleeve. So I'll measure my round armhole. I'll go ahead to cut out my basic sleeve. My round armhole is 20 inches. If I divide it by 2, I have 10 inch. I added half inch for sewing allowance and I rule it to the hemline. The full length of the sleeve that I use is 19 inches. I'll be adding a band to the sleeve. I'll be adding a band of 3 inches. So I will iron it down so that I can get that line. I will measure from my sleeve head to 9 inches. That's where the opening will start. I will slash it open. You can open it up to the sleeve head, but I don't want to be doing that. So after slashing it open, the next thing I will do now is to use my bias to sew it. I will first of all sew one side. This is because I want to get that V line. You sew it and you turn it. Just pipe it the way you used to pipe your neckline. After that, I will repeat the same thing on the other side. I've done that already. I will be pleating it up to my round sleeve. So I've already cut out my band. I measured my round sleeve. My round sleeve is 9 inches and I added 1 inch. I will go ahead and gather the down part of this dress to 4.5 inches on the both side. I will knot the midpoint of my band. I cut the length of 6 inches for my band. Unfold is 3 inches. So I folded this part that I'll be using to top stitch on it. So what I will do now is to place it the way you see me doing. From the midpoint where I notch, I came out by half inch. I want the middle to have a space of 1 inch or 1.5. Okay, I came out by 0.75. Can you see what I have? I will now fold it this way and top stitch on it. Please bear with me, I lost some clips for this video. That's why the sleeve part is not well detailed. But not to worry, I will make a separate tutorial for the sleeve part.